I wonder what film I've been really obsessed with recently. I wonder what series. I've gone and binged and even started watching the Clone Wars TV series and going to watch Rebels and Resistance. Does look really cool though, doesn't it? Anyway, 2019, the best and worst year of my life. We're going with the AirPod mics today just because I thought the easiest way for me to look back on my 2019 was to just flick through my photos because I've obviously got all the videos there from vlog clips and everything like that, and that should give quite a good summary. So we're going to speed through basically everything that's happened this year. We will do the highlights, we will do the low darks, that can't be what they're called, the low darks, we'll go with that, but also spruce in all those kind of, not New Year's resolutions. I don't think that's what I want to be doing this year because I don't want things too specific, but certainly my goals and where I want to be going this year. Cool. It's quite weird because I remember making this, well, the end of 2018 video thinking it couldn't possibly be beaten because, well, let's face it, because I made a video with Disney that and We Are Autism, those two things alone kind of made last year. But then this year has just been throwing them at me, all these amazing, incredible things. But I don't want to just be that person that's like, this year's been amazing, because it hasn't. So yeah, cool. Speaking with the not amazing, before anybody says, how was your Christmas, Connor? Well, I spent Christmas Eve rushing to hospital at 70 miles an hour in a car while my granny was drowning internally in the front seat. Spent Christmas Day eating a cheese and ham toastie from a hospital cafe. And speed forward a few days, my granny's out of hospital. We had Christmas yesterday on December 30th. Everything's now fine, but it's been a Christmas. Cool. Surprisingly, I did quite enjoy it, minus the trauma and, you know, near death. I'm going to start with a weird highlight for me, getting a new wardrobe. I've not had a new wardrobe in 15 years. Don't worry, that's not going to be the tone of the entire video. We're going to skip to things like me figuring out how to use my new special effects software that I'd got at the beginning of the year. Strangely enough, I'm flicking through and I've come across an entire vlog that I'd never uploaded. It's because it wasn't really an autism thing and I felt I couldn't upload it. Even though it's quite a good video because I've watched it through a few times and I really enjoy it. Maybe I'll do something with that one day because it's really outdated, but because I can't put it on here. Maybe I'll put it on here unlisted and access it through the community tab or something. I need to step it up. This isn't like high enough. My year's been full of highs. Starting my Minecraft channel, I've just not played Minecraft properly in a few months. I've just not had the headspace. Obviously it's been a bit of a hectic Christmas. I plan to get back at it in the new year. I need my release. But starting it in January and getting it wrong in January because I was just doing playthroughs and then I unlisted all those videos and started again. I enjoyed purchasing my iPad Pro and allowing myself to be creative in other senses which I've not really played about with in years. So just some basic art, you know, I did pictures of the best Disney characters obviously, and I haven't really done any proper drawings since. I tried to do this one of my favourite scene from Hercules. It's where Hercules is singing Go the Distance and he's looking into a sunset, but let's face it, it looks rubbish. So 2020, I want to practice that and I want to make that look good. A lesson I learnt, going to the Showstoppers thing, I learned that I shouldn't just accept every opportunity that comes to me. I need to think about A, how appropriate is it to my audience, and B, is it going to freak me out? Because I got really freaked out by that. So don't just get excited by PR opportunities, there will be more to come. And I think it was quite good for me to learn that lesson at the beginning of the year because I've had some right interesting stuff. Obviously, I'm so grateful that I get offered these, but I need to, you know, it's important to look after yourself. Ultimately, here is a definite highlight. I got to meet potentially my childhood heroes. As a child, I loved Busted and I loved Thunderbirds. Like, I had all the Tracy Islands, I had like 4 different ones. And then, when the live action film came out and it was announced that Busted would be singing the theme song for Thunderbirds, my 7-year-old mind could not cope and I actually was like, Dad, no, you're lying. And it was true and it was beautiful. So after all those many years getting to meet them, it was a really kind of quick, spontaneous thing as well. Wow. I don't get starstruck because I kind of, you know, I interact with all those kind of people nowadays. But Busted, no. I couldn't speak. VidCon was fun for multiple reasons. One, I learned to always ask about whether there's creator times for the slime machine because we missed out and I'm still annoyed about that. I'm hoping it's going to be there this year. I still don't know if I'm going this year. But I wanted to get slimed, but I didn't want to do the whole random thing and do it with kids. And then it turns out they had a creator hour and no one showed up. But something more interesting happened the VidCon weekend. I went to go and see a show called All in a Row and well, you probably know the video I made about it, but I learnt a lot from that whole experience. I learnt a really strong lesson in what I say has impact, and that's not something to be abused, but it really put it in perspective for me when I made a video slagging off this show, and then 4 days later there was a Q&A with the cast, and a lot of the questions were based on things that I'd said in the video, and that really made me like see real world impact, and it kind of freaked me out in a bit, but obviously it was to move towards a better understanding. But I've spoken to actors in the show, I've spoken to Alex, the writer of it. He's an absolutely lovely person. We've had a phone call, we're liking each other's stuff on Twitter all the time. But what I can say is that I'm not going to jump to attack something as quickly. And I know I kind of did it with that Atypical video, but with something as big and complex and as with so many components involved, I can't just jump and attack, because publicly we will never know the whole story. Like, obviously I can't say things, but I've learned things and I know why it ended up being the way it was. But also what was really nice to see there is how much of people who never normally get along in the autism community were banding together, and that was quite a fun thing. Oh wow, this was a highlight, and for some reason I only filmed in portrait. Clearly wasn't thinking that this would end up in a video one day. I got to go and see the Disney Broadway hits at the Royal Albert Hall, and Disney Theatrical is my favourite part of Disney. I absolutely love how they turn the films into musicals and expand all the music, because I love that. So to get to hear all these songs I'd listened to, like If I Can't Love Her and stuff like that, to get to hear all those songs with a full orchestra, mind blown. Also taught me a lesson in patience, because of the little in the row in front that I nearly pushed off the balcony, but I didn't. Don't be afraid to stand your ground at a theatre. You've paid to be there, you've travelled across the country to be there. If a bratty 6-year-old is ruining your experience, speak up. This is a major one. The announcement of Lego Hercules. Like, I'm not going to fetch one because they're both over there, but I had often dreamed of a far off place where a Hercules figure existed in Lego, and this is a massive thing. And obviously I love Lego, obviously I love Hercules. I never thought I would see the day when I would be able to see an official Lego figure of Hercules, and I was even getting ready at the start of the year to pay 30 something quid for a custom printed, custom made Hercules. I was getting ready, and then that was announced, and my life changed. Honestly, it changed. And now I own 3 of them. Oh, I got to do the whole BBC Click thing. That was cool. I always love doing TV stuff, but what's really funny about it is, of course, it's normally to try and demonstrate the autism. And my whole thing with shopping and things like that is I will try and be as quick as possible, in, out. However, when filming for TV, you have to get multiple takes, multiple angles, multiple everything, and before you know it, you spent 5 hours in a very intense environment, and it's quite challenging. But the payoff of it is incredible. To see that, something that you've been a part of goes out to, millions, hundreds of thousands. And then we're into World Autism Awareness Week, and World Autism Awareness Week started off with a bang when I was just sat there on my bed. I got a call at 2:45 on the Monday morning saying, "Connor, do you want to be on ITV Lunchtime News tomorrow?" I'm like, I can't say no. And before I know it, I'm sat there in the green room with someone from Game of Thrones, going on live TV. I really want to do it again, because I don't think I was 100%, but it was very generic stuff. I think I did very well to say it was my first time, but I'd want to be a bit more animated like this. I was very much autism is a condition that affects, so to be a bit more relaxed with it. But considering the fact it was so spontaneous and it was so in the moment, I think I did extremely well, and I'm very proud of myself. Skip to later on that week, it was the relaxed performance of The Curious Incident of the Dog in Nighttime. And of course, I'd seen that show 2.5 years before, and it was my first outing to the theatre as an adult, because I'd been put off it as a 3-year-old, screaming, dragged out of... Yeah, anyway, I was lucky enough the first time to meet Sam, the actor who played Christopher, and I was like, oh, thank you so much. So to then 2.5 years later be in Sam's dressing room interviewing him about the show, it was a very weird full circle thing, because it was very early days YouTube. I just got him hanging off the stage in my vlog, and then I'm in a dressing room. But it was so cool getting to talk to someone who was neurotypical playing someone autistic. And do I mention this? Yeah. stuff it. I auditioned for the Curious Incident film. I auditioned to be Christopher. I don't know how much I can say about the film, but it was all publicly out there. I assume I haven't got it. It's been 5 months now and I haven't got it, but I had to do it in American. They changed the story for American. May was the neurodiversity panel at Comic-Con. I'd done panels before, but to get to do a panel in the YouTube world, and I thought, like, it was the first ever neurodiversity panel in the world about YouTube. We still have people who argue it to the day, but it was at a mainstream event. Try and prove me wrong. And I'm so proud of all 4 of us for delivering exactly what it needs to be for the first panel. Doing Matilda, I really loved doing Matilda just because it was, it was another relaxed performance. I always love the theatre things. But getting to meet Melinda, like, well, you saw in my video last week, Melinda and I have definitely stayed in touch. In fact, I need to send her a message about something. But yeah, it's cool that you can do these things and come away with friends. It was worth doing purely for meeting Melinda. Like, what more can I say? The show was good too, obviously, but Melinda. We got the autism shows, of course. They were incredible once again. And I'm not going to go into this too much, but the autism show is going to be very different for me next year. I'm going to do an entire video on this literally in a couple of weeks. But honestly, my plans for the autism show are incredible. I'm working a lot closer with the show. Jeff and Nargis, who run it, have been so open to updating the event, and I can't wait to bring something completely fresh to it, and you shall hear all about it. Can we just talk about the fact that Owen Kelly achieved the impossible task of capturing good pictures of me. Well done. This is an interesting picture that I'm going to include because this is going to be a goal. Here's me in a changing room wearing a white t-shirt. I've always wanted to wear white t-shirts. In fact, I even wear like raglan ones, but I've not got the body shape to be able to wear white properly. And that's what I want my goal for 2020 to be. I've really loved clothes over the last couple of years. I'm liking them more and more. And I want to be able to wear white and like rock it. That picture really doesn't look too bad. And I'll tell you what, I have been losing like a fair bit of weight other than the last few weeks when I did all these birthday meals and then cheese and ham toasties in hospital, and now I'm having Christmas. But other than that, like I have been. Obviously I need to get back on track now. So I'm excited for that, and I've always said this every single year, but I want to lose weight. I want my outside to reflect my inside, and my inside is good and healthy, so I want that to be reflected, and it just means I'll be able to rock a Hercules costume one day. Again, I should say, I did for the first 8 years of my life. Coincidentally, it's actually just by my feet because I'm sorting my room out. Oh, I've come across Orme. That, of course, was a massive part of this year. I absolutely love the product, and I don't work on it anymore. But yeah, that's absolutely fine. I was helping with one part of it. I thought it was going to go on for longer. We all did, but things don't always work out, and that's not a bad thing. I'm extremely proud of the work that I put into it. And yeah, I hope it's been helping people. The YouTube Pride Party, that was fun. That was the first time I'd been in a loud environment and not had to wear earplugs. Going to the Brentwood Festival was a massive thing for me. Obviously I did it to see Jessie J. I'd never done a festival. I'd never drank at a show. I wanted to throw myself into it 100% with my silly festival outfit, which I actually ended up really rocking. I said about not being able to wear white. Obviously I can wear it underneath stuff, but it's when you can like see shape from it, and yeah, anyway, never mind. But I really enjoyed that. It was such a good show, and that was the last time I saw Jessie J, and I need to see her again, but she's not done any UK shows since. Ugh. I'd finished something I've been working on for a year, and that was building the entire Aladdin musical in Minecraft. It paid off, and it was incredible, and something absolutely incredible happened because of that. At Disney_UK, the official Disney UK Twitter account, followed me on Twitter. Oh, I cried. I told everyone I knew. I cried again. Summer in the City, here we go. Oh, this is a massive achievement. The Quiet Room. Obviously there was a Quiet Room at 2018, but to know that our voices were listened to, and the most incredible Quiet Room was made for 2019. It's the best one I've ever seen put up in the Excel. And I think he'd be annoyed if I didn't put this in, so I suppose meeting Jay Caspy in person. As I said, I've only really made one friend this year, but well, actually, no, Melinda too, so 2 friends this year. In fact, Jay Caspy is messaging me right now. Lights. Oh, he's got his new lights. How cool! But Summer in the City was a major thing for me. A, because the social aspect of it. I really did the socialising bit well. Partied very hard. Enjoyed it. I don't want to say this in any disrespectful way, because I have so much respect for the event and stuff. But I learnt a massive lesson. in what's important. I can't lie and say, well, you just have to watch my videos. Like, you can watch all videos over the last 3 years and you'll see many times my dream was to be on a panel at Summer in the City talking about autism, and it was the neurodiversity panel. You know, we'd just done it in Comic-Con. I thought, you know, I'm kind of guaranteed to get onto it, and I wasn't put onto it, and I can't deny I wasn't really hurt by that, and it caused months of stress and months of upset leading up to it and stuff, and it didn't help on the day. I had people coming up to me saying, "Oh, good luck with the panel, Connor," because it was just that much of a thing within the community that people just assumed I was going to be on the panel. It's just, that's my one YouTube dream. Like, really, that's to be on a Summer in the City panel, and it didn't happen, and it's never going to happen now because the event's not called Summer in the City. And I know that's still a minor thing for some people, but for me, you know, to have like a creator pass with Summer in the City on, that would have been incredible. But it's not going to happen. And you know, the panel was good. I just wish that I would have been able to throw all of my passion about both autism and YouTube into one panel, and it would have been the place where I feel I would have been able to give the most. And also, I know more people would have showed up because the amount of people that boycotted it because I wasn't on it. But I learned a lesson in the fact that I shouldn't get bogged down in my personal dreams. It's about the bigger picture. It's whatever's going to work for the bigger picture. Whoever decides that I wasn't the best person to be on it, fair enough. I have to accept that. And I got told by many people I have bigger and better things. And literally, I got booked for a panel at a festival in Manchester a few weeks later. We are all about the bigger picture. We have our goal. We need to make things right for people on the spectrum. We need to make a society that works for autistic people. Why have I not mentioned the National Autistic Society yet? They've been helping with loads of these things. Damn. National Autistic Society. Brilliant. Yeah, cool. This is an important thing to mention. Hercules the Musical. Something I had longed for so long. It happened in New York, and I didn't get to see it. And hypothetically, if I had heard the show, if I'd heard the entire show, I think it would be the best show that Disney have ever made. And I think it should be put on more stages around the world, especially in the UK. That'd be brilliant. But, you know, it's only hypothetical. How would I know what the musical sounds like? And how would I know that the version of Go the Distance in the musical is the best version of Go the Distance that has ever been created? And oh my god, hypothetically, it's incredible. Hypothetically. Seeing Aladdin for the final time, I got to see the final show of Aladdin, and that wasn't through being invited by Disney or anything like I had been for the first 3 times. This was my friend Heidi, who works in the theatre. She was gutted for me that I couldn't afford to go to the proper last show, and then there was a secret last show the next week, which isn't secret now. It was assembled from cast from all over the world. So we got Jonathan Freeman's Jafar, who's Jafar in the cartoon. It was incredible, and that's been filmed. We imagine it's going to end up on Disney Plus. So, you know, if that comes up on Disney Plus, you'll see me in the gods waving. Well, I wasn't waving, obviously, but yeah, that was so fun, and I'm so grateful for Heidi for letting me experience that. It's all been highs. Well, kind of. Now let's go to the real lows. I'd been to London to see Aladdin. I'd met up with Melinda, I'd met up with Jake, I'd gone to Aladdin with Jenna, I'd seen Heidi. It was a fun weekend. I'd stayed at my friend Liam, so I'd seen him too. Get back home, oh yeah, getting ready to get back into life. Oh, me and my sister just need to go and pick my mum up. Cool, okay, driving along, pick my mum up. Get driven into. Ow. Ow. Physically, ow. Emotionally. Now, I've made whole videos on this, so I'm not going to go into it too much. But that car crash messed me up. I've never been put into a state where I'm so anxious about everything. I didn't want to leave the house, didn't want to do anything. And although I'm autistic, I'm not actually an anxious person as such. I get anxious, but it's always situational. I never have it just, randomly. There's a bit of social anxiety, especially around unfamiliar scenarios, but I'm more someone who gets overwhelmed than I do anxious. But to experience that, it wasn't nice. And I'd convinced myself that I was never going to drive again, never leave the house again. I'd built up all these coping mechanisms to be able to do with life, and I experienced burnout, so I lost a lot of those coping mechanisms. But I feel I'm at the point now where I've been able to build myself back up, and it's taken 4 months, but I feel I'm really there now. I'm not glad it happened, but I really got shown my own strength, and yeah, I'm really proud of myself for it. Imagine we skip forward a few weeks to me being in Manchester, being on that panel that I mentioned. That was my first back to work thing, and the fact I was able to do that, I was very impressed. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but I had my friend Bronwyn there. it was all good. And then of course the next day I flew to Ireland, and my friend James spoke in front of the largest audience I've ever spoken in front of, and I learnt a lot of lessons from that of what I would do next time differently. But I want to do more international talks. Do I say this online? Yes, why not? I'm now at the point where I'm looking for a speaking agent, because I want to be able to access people that I've not been able to access through my own contacts. I've never searched for work, I've always let it come to me, but I'm now at the point now where I'm like, do you know what? I want to be the chief income earner in my house. I want to be able to do things so my mum doesn't have to, etc. I want to be able to provide. And if I've got the skills to be able to access certain money, why not? And then I can get the money from the people who are able to give it, and it means that I've got more time then to be able to give myself to courses that haven't got money behind them. That's definitely a massive 2020 thing that's on my mind. Like, I've got consistent consultation work, and maybe I'll talk about that project that I'm consulting on one day. At the moment I'm not allowed to, it's all private work, but maybe you'll see publicly what I'm working on, because I can't wait to work on something 2 days a month every month, and that is a lot of my income. And to be in that position, I'm incredibly proud, because 3 years ago I thought I would never be able to work again. Now I earn more than I did in my office job, working a fifth of the time. I'm proud, and that's not showing off. I genuinely didn't think it'd be able to happen. I'm proud that I've been able to get to that point, but I know I've worked my arse off to get there. Doing Comic-Con, that was my first time going back to London post-car crash. That was cool. And then, yeah, a few days later was when I drove again. That was pretty much it for the year. Obviously, my birth week, I absolutely love that. And I got to learn a massive lesson at the end of the year about just family and how much I love them. So, yeah, it's been a good year. It's been a very interesting year. I feel so grateful for all the opportunities that I've been able to come to. But at the same time, I know that I'm a hard worker, and there's a reason they are coming to me. It's not all luck. I've very much learned to just focus on my own thing, because that will get me furthest. I don't need to be distracted by other things. It's been a year. It's been a good year. And it's been a horrible year. On the whole, good. If I was still, in kind of car crash down, I'd probably say as a whole it's been a no. But as I feel I'm mostly through that, yeah, I can't wait to see where 2020 is going to go. Like, I can't wait. And there's one massive project which I haven't spoken about, which we launched this year, which will kind of be relaunching in a week, which you'll hear about soon. I need to stop saying which. Let me know your favourite things of 2019, your worst things too, or if you're still watching. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it's been a good one. And I'm just going to round this up as quickly as possible. But Happy New Year, all that stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.